So today's session is all about the 3 pedals for a manual vehicle. As you can see, we have right hand pedal is your gas pedal, accelerator. Center pedal is the brake and the left pedal is the clutch. So just look at them a little bit more in sort of detail. The gas pedal is literally just supplying fuel to the engine, and it will be a case the more you press it, the more fuel you'll supply to the engine. So if you just press it with the engine running, you're going to hear engine revs. Okay, engine revs up. As you come off it, engine revs drop back down to a tick over. The foot brake, again, very much however hard you press it, the more you press it, the harder you'll brake. Okay, so for just normal general use, you're just going to be gently feathering the brake, supply as much pressure as needed to bring the car to a stop, and then just releasing the brake pedal just before you stop, so you roll to a stop. That'll make it a lot more comfortable for you and your passengers. And then the clutch literally has one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to transition between the gears. When you press it down, literally all you've done is disengage the engine from the gearbox. Now, by disengaging the engine from the gearbox, it will allow you to do a smooth transition between each gear, but you can't really change gear unless you got the clutch down. All you'll get is a grinding noise as you try and put it into gear if you don't use the clutch. So all I'm really going to do today is just do a video of me driving and showing you how the pedals work, just to try and give you a better understanding of what it is you're trying to achieve when you are doing gear changes, coming to a stop, moving off and stuff like that. Okay, right, so I'm just going to get myself in and ready to go and hopefully all these recordings will work together when I've had it done. So the engine's currently running. Okay, for me to move off, I must put my foot on the clutch and select first gear. Okay, from there I can find the biting point, so I'm raising the clutch up slightly until the car feels like it just wants to start moving. Now, on one of the videos, you'll be able to see the car starting to sort of lift every time I lift the clutch up and down. Now, it's me finding the biting point. That's the point where the clutch is just about to engage the wheels with the engine, sort of thing. Okay, at this point, if I take my handbrake off, the car's going to start moving. And if I gently raise the clutch a tiny little bit more, the car will move forward. So I'm now covering the brake because I can't see past these cars. Gentle braking. I've put the clutch back down again to keep the engine from fully engaging. And then I come off the brake, gently raising the clutch until I've got some movement in the engine and the wheels. And then I don't need the clutch again now until I want to change gear. So as my speed increases, I can come off the gas, put the clutch down, second gear, clutch back up, back on the gas again. So it doesn't need to be done like you're some Formula 1 driver. It can be done nice and smoothly, and you can sort of take your time to do it. The only time you possibly need to do it a little bit faster is if you're going uphill. Otherwise you're going to reduce the speed of the car. So I'm going to go right at the end of the road, off the gas, brake down, and then clutch to stop me from stalling, because otherwise the engine's going to want to keep turning the wheels. So getting back into first gear from stationary, checking up and down the road, and I'm raising the clutch slightly, gaining a little bit of momentum, and as I'm into the new road, I'm going to keep it in first gear because we've not got far to go before the end of the road. Give it a turn right again, clutch goes down so the engine doesn't stall, on the foot brake to bring me to a stop, still in first gear, and again off the brake, find the biting point, a little bit of movement from the vehicle, and then building my speed on the gas pedal, off the gas, clutch down, second gear, clutch back up, back on the gas again. And again, as the speed increases, off the gas, clutch down, third gear, clutch back up, back on the gas again. So at this stage, if I just come off the gas pedal, because we're rolling down the hill, the car's just going to keep rolling. But if I stay off all the pedals, what will eventually happen is that the car will just slow down and slow down and slow down and slow down. Okay, I've got vehicles coming, so I'm going to put some gas back on to just get me through this area. And at the little mini roundabout ahead, I'm going to turn left. So as I'm coming, I'm checking my mirrors, giving an indication, off the gas, gentle braking to bring my speed down, and then clutch down into second gear, looking to my right, it's nice and clear, back off the clutch, back onto the gas again. As we accelerate away, off the gas, clutch down, third gear, clutch back up, back on the gas again. So the process is literally exactly the same, no matter what gear changing you're doing. You're always going to come off the gas first, just press the clutch, do the gear change, raise the clutch back up again, and then go back on the gas. And the smoother you do those motions, the smoother it is for you, your passengers, the car itself. If I was to put my foot down on the clutch and keep the gas on, all you're going to hear is a revvy noise. So the car revs, and then when you come off the clutch again, you get a little jolt because the revs have raised and the wheels are trying to catch up with those revs. So by always coming off the gas pedal first, it's going to make that transition a little bit smoother, dependent on how fast you come back off the clutch again. So again, at the end of the road, I'm going to turn left and then right. So I'm off the gas, braking initially, just bringing the speed of the car down, checking the mirrors and signalling, clutch down, and I can look to my right, I can come off the brake, change gear in just a second because nothing's coming. I'm going to turn right, so I can still stay in second gear currently. And then back onto the gas again. As the speed increases, come off the gas, clutch down, third gear, clutch back up, back onto the gas. If you remove your foot away from the clutch, there's no temptation then to just sit there, what we call riding the clutch. Riding the clutch, eventually what happens is your muscles in your leg just ease up and you don't know you're doing it, and it will then gradually put pressure onto that clutch pedal, and what can then happen is that you start, the word riding the clutch is literally you're sitting there putting pressure on it, and it starts to help wear out the clutch plate over time, because you don't really know you're doing it, and it will just cause more wear and tear to the clutch plate. Okay, so this car's decided to come through, so I'm just on the brake initially, clutch down so I don't stall, and then selecting first gear, off the brake, raise the clutch to the transition point, onto the gas, off gas, clutch down, second gear, clutch back up, back on the gas again. At the roundabout, I'm going to follow the road ahead. So again, as I'm getting near to it, checking my mirrors, coming off the gas, I don't need any more, I'm just wasting fuel. Covering the brake, gentle bit of braking, but nobody's coming from my right currently, so I can stay in second gear, end of the roundabout, exit indication. I'm going to turn right again, staying in second gear, a little bit of braking just for the corner. I'm just going to come to a stop here, so clutch down so we don't stop. Okay, it's going to let us through. Again, as the speed increases, off the gas, clutch down, third gear, clutch back up, back on the gas again. Coming near to the end of the road, just checking my mirrors, giving a signal to where I'm going, off the gas, covering the brake, gentle braking, as I come near the end, off the brake, into second, and I'm going to turn right. New road, checking the mirrors, nobody's coming, off the gas, clutch down into third gear, clutch back up, back on the gas, and then off gas, clutch down, fourth gear, clutch back up, back on the gas again. So it's exactly the same, doesn't matter what gear I'm using, the same rules are going to apply every time. Before you change any gear, you've got to be using the clutch. Okay. Now in a second, I'm just going to show you what will happen. Obviously, if we just depress the clutch and don't do anything else, and that will show you really what the clutch is doing in its fullest extent. So I'm going to put the air conditioning on. See, I can just come down in a second, do the gear change, pop on the gas, and off we go. Fourth gear. Now you don't have to be as extreme as I say coming off the gas pedal. You don't have to pull your foot all the way back off of it. If you get into that habit initially when you first will try it, it'll make it a lot clearer as to what you're doing. So you're only using one foot at a time, sort of thing. Whereas as you get a little bit more proficient with it, you can sort of rest it over. It's just a little bit of lack of pressure. Fourth gear, clutch back up, back on the gas again. So, what will happen? If I come off the gas pedal fully now, as you can see, we're on the flat surface. The speed of the car is literally just going to start to slow down. Now we're in fourth gear. And if I don't do anything about the gears, the car's going to start grumbling at me, because it's either going to stall or I've got to do something about the gear change, and the car is now rumbling. So if I clutch down, go back in the third gear, I've alleviated that rumble because I've brought the gear relative to the speed that I'm doing. And each gear, they've got their own little speed band that they want to work within. And if you're in the wrong one, it will either stall you or you'll have loads of revs. Because it's just an inappropriate gear for that particular, inappropriate speed for that gear. Okay, so I'm going to pull in on the left after this silver car. Now all I'm going to do is literally just put my clutch down. Okay, so I'm just going to notify people where we're going, and the clutch goes down. All that's going to happen here is the car will literally just roll to a stop. Now, I might not make it before this white car, so I might have to add a bit of brake on as well. So we're just going to help brake in. Okay, so the clutch can go down early if it needs to, just to allow you to disengage the engine from the wheels and then just have a nice gentle smooth stop with the foot brake. Back into neutral, brake calm, and cancel the signal. Now I'm going to go around another road, hopefully there's not going to be any cars. I'm just going to show you the difference between what would happen if I just braked and didn't use the clutch, and what would happen if I used just the clutch and no brake. But the ideal scenario is that when we come into a stop, we're just finding the clutch when we need to use it at the right speed, and then finishing off the stop with the foot brake. Okay, so I'm just going to restart the car again. Let the old sat-nav kick in if it hasn't switched off. No, that's okay. Okay, so I'm going to in the first gear, checking all around me, finding the right point, and moving off. Okay. Getting off gas, clutch down, second gear, clutch back up, back on the gas again. And at the roundabout, I'm going to turn left. giving a signal, reducing the speed, so just coming off the gas initially, gentle braking, nobody coming, off the brake again, back onto the gas, looking into the road I'm turning into. So if I come along here and I literally wanted to stop on the left just after this junction and I just used the brake pedal, this is what's going to happen. The car's going to stop, but it's also going to stall. Okay? Because I didn't use the clutch. Because what's happening is the car's wanting to carry on driving. It's in gear, and all the time that engine is rotating. If it's in one of these gears, it's going to want to keep going in the direction of that gear until the engine stalls. Alright, so this time I'm going to do it where I just use the clutch and no brake. Okay, so again, we're moving off, it's nice and clear around us. I'm going to turn left into this road. So I've gone into second gear, take the turn in. Okay, so this time you can see I'm only on the gas pedal at the moment. Now if I come off the gas pedal and put the clutch down, we're going to roll for quite some time. So the speed's gradually coming down, 9 miles an hour, 8, 7. So it's going to take a long time. The car's not going to stall, but it will eventually come to a stop. And the only reason we're using the foot brake is to stop us sooner. Because obviously we wouldn't want to take that long to come to a stop every time we're going to slow down. Okay, so now, just stop now. Okay, so that's literally what the clutch is going to do for you. It's just going to allow the car to roll to a stop, but it also helps engage the engine and the wheels to join them together without causing too much grief. Okay, so back on the gas again, clutch down, second gear, clutch up, back on the gas, off gas, clutch down, third gear, clutch up, back on the gas. End of the road's coming, mirror check, signal, positioning the road, reducing our speed, having a good look around. It's nice and clear. I can take this in second, so off the brake, clutch down, second gear, look into the road, turn in. Know at the end of the road's coming up quite soon, no point in me changing gear. So a lot of misconceptions are that people think that when they brake they have to use the clutch. Now when you're travelling at speed, you can brake without using the clutch. It's only the clutch is either to transfer between gears or to stop the car from stalling when you come to a stationary position. So I can use, off the gas, brake, come back off the brake, go back on the gas. So I haven't had to touch the clutch once, but I'm still within a speed range that I didn't need to do a gear change. So again, off the gas, braking, off the brake, back on the gas. Again, still no gear changing. So at the roundabout this time I'm going to go ahead. Again, just coming off the gas pedal, being prepared that somebody could arrive at the roundabout, having a good look. There's nobody there, so I can go back onto the gas pedal, signal to exit the roundabout, and just gentle pressure on the gas pedal just to keep me progressing. It's a little bit tight around here, so we're keeping the speed a little bit slower, and we've got red traffic lights up ahead, so there's no point in rushing to it, just wasting fuel. Lights aren't going to change before I get there. I can just come off the gas early. It's going to give me a nice smooth stop up to the lights. Gently covering the brake. And the lights have changed, so I'll come back off the brake. Still haven't had to do a gear change yet. Looking into the road, turning in. But if I had rushed up to those lights at 30 miles an hour, which I could have done on that road, all I'd have ended up doing is slamming on the brakes hard by the time I got there, and I might be sat there waiting. So by just easing off the gas and arriving at it slowly, there was nobody behind me. I wasn't affecting anybody by going slower. It saved me fuel, it saved me wear and tear on my brakes, so I didn't have to touch them as such. And the lights changed before I actually got to the stop line. I could just go back on the gas and get going again. Okay, so again, the speed's increasing. Off the gas, clutch down, fourth gear, clutch back up, back on the gas again. Just regularly checking my speed down, see that I'm within the speed limit of the road. It's currently 30 miles an hour. See traffic lights up ahead of me. Now I'm going to take the turning on the left before the traffic lights. So it's times like now I can start planning ahead. I know there's a turning on the left. I know I've got a car behind me. So I'm looking at the gap between him and me and thinking about when's time that I should be thinking about giving a signal to him and when should I start slowing down. So I can see the junction coming up now. So I'm checking the mirrors again, centre and left, giving a signal. This is giving the guy stacks of time behind me because we haven't got the sun on coming. He might not see me as easily. Off the gas, just braking very gently initially and then clutch down as I come off the brake, second gear. We take the turning into the road, round we go, nice and smooth, haven't affected anybody, haven't slowed people down unduly. I'm going to turn right here, so checking the mirrors again, giving a signal right, and again I'm just staying off the clutch, off the gas currently. Because I can have a good look around, nobody's coming, go back onto the gas again, still in second gear, off gas, clutch down, third gear, clutch back up, back on the gas again. And by thinking the process through before you're going to do it, it's going to make it so much easier for you. Stage 1, come off the gas. Stage 2, put the clutch down. Stage 3, change gear. Stage 4, come off the clutch again. Stage 5, back on the gas. So there's only 5 stages each time you do a gear change. It doesn't matter how you learn it, it's just that sequencing of events is going to be identical. Realistically, there are 5 motions for doing a gear change. They're going to be the same every time, whether you're going up or down. Even if I want to go down the gear now, stage 1, off the gas. Stage 2, clutch down. Stage 3, gear change. Stage 4, clutch back up. Stage 5, back on the gas again. So it's identical every time, up or down. Practice makes perfect. That's all I can say to you at the end of the day. You know, you can sit and watch this video again and again and again and again. And it's just understanding, more than anything else, what your actions are doing on the pedals is what effect they're going to have on the car itself. Okay, so end of the road, just coming off the gas, covering the brake if I need to slow down, checking my mirrors and that lot as well, giving a signal which way I'm going. And I can't see here, it's a closed junction, so I'm going to clutch down, carry on the braking gently, then off the brake, into first gear, raise the clutch gently until I find the biting point, hold it on the transition point with a little bit of gas, move off. Off the gas, clutch down, second gear, clutch back up, back on the gas again. Off gas, clutch down, third gear, clutch back up, back on the gas again. See a red car oncoming. I'd like to think they're going to wait for me. Does look like they're going to. Pedestrian in the road with a dog. Just going to ease up for him. Going to turn left at the end of the road. Check them in mirrors, giving a signal. Brake, closed junction I can't see, so I'm stopping, clutch down, into first gear. Just going to wait for these 2 cars to come through first. Okay, so off brake, gas on, slightly on a hill, find the bike transition, off gas, second gear, again off gas, clutch, third gear, off gas, clutch, fourth gear. And just over time, the process will get smoother and smoother and smoother and smoother for you. It's no different when you learnt to walk. You took a couple of paces and fell over. And you took 3 paces and fell over. 4 paces, etc., etc. Eventually, you get to the stage where you stop falling over, and then you're walking around perfectly well. Then you learn to run. Might have a few trips every now and again, but again, once you've got experience in running, it becomes natural. Riding the bike, driving the car, they're all the same. We've got to take time to learn to do them. fourth gear, the car's coping, it's not struggling at me too much. But if you find that the traffic starts to back up, well then your car, as it slows down, it's going to make noises, it's going to start rumbling at you, it's going to say it's not happy, you might get little lights come up on the dashboard telling you to change gear. By keep looking around, seeing those things, hearing, feeling, you'll get to know your own vehicle that you're driving, and it'll sort of, it's giving you clues to say do something, or this isn't going to end well. Purely up to you whether you do or don't, but if you don't, you're going to might end up causing damage to your vehicle in the long run, and potentially cause yourself issues with vehicles in front or behind. If you stalled, somebody could plough into you. If you put the wrong gear in, you accelerate too quickly, you maybe plough into the car in front of you. You may get too close to the car in front of you. There's so many things that could go wrong. So initially, just keep yourself a bigger gap till you get comfortable with what your pedals are doing and how your actions are going to affect the car. So we're going to go left at the roundabout, checking the mirrors, giving a signal, positioning ourselves in the road, coming off the gas, clutch down. I'm going to put it in a second gear for this one, off the clutch, back into the gas again. So we're now on a 40-mile-an-hour road, so we can increase the speed a little bit more. Up in the fourth again, we're now at 40. Up ahead, they could change at any time. Just being cautious, never accelerate towards a green light. Yeah, just keep your speed steady, and then at the end of the day, if they change, you should be able to react in the time it takes for the lights to go from red to green. You should be able to stop in time. There's a certain point where you're going to get a point of no return where actually you wouldn't stop in time, you'd have to slam on the brakes. It would possibly be safer to keep going. You'd more than likely then be through the green before it went green, or through the amber before it went to red. Off the gas already, covering the brake and gently just braking. I don't know if they're going to change before I get there, so clutch down, so we roll the car now with just braking to finish off. Okay, handbrake can go on, into neutral, and I'll just wait for the lights to change, back into first, as they go green, handbrake off, and let's turn it out. Speed humps in a crossing area, so I'm going to take this nice and slowly. And then we're just going to turn in and park up somewhere. I'll do it quite nicely. Okay, so there we go. It's not hard. It's just all practice, okay? At the end of the day, the more you do it, the easier it will get. Don't feel that you're rushed to have to get out onto main roads and stuff like that. Stay on some quiet roads where you know you're not going to affect any other cars, and just understand the process. That's the best advice I can give you. You go out too quickly, everything starts happening a little bit quicker because you're doing faster speeds. And then because of that, it's then going to make you a little bit more anxious. Things are going to happen a lot quicker, and you don't understand what you're doing, and it all ends up a little bit of mush in your head, and before you know it, your instructor stepped in, or the car's stalled, or something like that, and you really don't know what you've done. And at the end of the day, then that makes it more confusing next time you try and get to that sort of same position, and you've not understood what you've done wrong last time, to be able to rectify it the second time. But if you do it in gradual little steps, bit by bit, to work out each gear at a time, each speed at a time, knowing what the right gear is for the right speed, then you'll gradually just build on that knowledge each time, sort of thing. Okay, so hopefully it's been beneficial to you. Give me some feedback if there's any other little subjects you'd like to understand with regards to gear changing. Okay, thanks very much.